Florence Nightingale was born in 1820 into a wealthy British family, while her parents were traveling through Italy. She was named after the city of her birth, Florence. From the beginning, her life seemed destined for comfort, luxury, and privilege. Her father was well educated, her mother moved in elite circles, and everyone assumed that Florence would grow up to marry a rich man and live a secure life. But Florence was different. Even as a child, she was deeply thoughtful, spending her time studying, observing, and caring for the poor and the sick in nearby villages. She felt drawn towards suffering, and at an early age she began to sense that her life had a greater purpose. In those days, nursing was not a respected profession. Hospitals were filthy, nurses were often untrained and seen as lower-class servants, and women from wealthy families were never expected to step into such work. But Florence could not ignore her calling. She believed God had chosen her to serve humanity. Against her family's wishes, she began to study health, hygiene, and statistics in secret. She read everything she could find on medicine and hospital care. When her parents discovered her ambition, they were horrified. They wanted her to marry, to live a life of privilege, but Florence refused. She was willing to sacrifice everything for the chance to serve. Her moment arrived during the Crimean War in the 1850s. Reports reached Britain that British soldiers were dying in huge numbers, not because of their battle wounds, but because of disease, infection, and terrible hospital conditions. Thousands were perishing in overcrowded, filthy wards where rats ran freely. Clean water was scarce, and doctors were helpless. The public was outraged, and Florence Nightingale, by then known for her dedication to nursing, was chosen to lead a group of nurses to the front lines. When Florence arrived at Scutari, the British military hospital in Turkey, she was shocked. She found wounded men lying on the floor in their own blood, bandages unwashed, air thick with disease, and death all around. Many soldiers had given up hope, but Florence refused to let despair win. She and her nurses immediately set to work. They scrubbed the floors, improved ventilation, washed linens, and demanded proper supplies. She introduced simple hygiene practices that were revolutionary for the time. Clean hands, boiled instruments, fresh water. She organized the chaos with strict discipline, and gradually, the death rate fell dramatically, from nearly half of the patients to just a small fraction. But Florence did more than clean hospitals. She gave the soldiers something priceless: hope. Every night, when silence fell over the wards, Florence walked through the dark corridors with a small lamp in her hand. She checked on each patient, offered comfort, and made them feel human again. The soldiers began to whisper about her, calling her the lady with the lamp. That lamp became a symbol, not just of light and darkness, but of compassion, courage, and the idea that even one person's kindness can heal countless wounds. When Florence returned to Britain, she was already a legend. Newspapers celebrated her, the public adored her, and even Queen Victoria praised her. But Florence did not care about fame. She used her influence to reform healthcare. She established the first professional nursing school at St. Thomas' Hospital in London, ensuring that nurses would be trained, educated, and respected. She wrote books on hospital design, sanitation, and healthcare systems, using not just her compassion, but also her remarkable skill in statistics to prove her arguments. Her work influenced hospitals all across the world, saving millions of lives long after the war ended. Florence herself lived a long life, though not without suffering. Years of exhausting work left her with chronic illness, and she spent much of her later life bedridden. Yet even from her sickbed, she continued to write, advise, and inspire change. She lived until the age of 90, passing away in 1910. But then her name had become synonymous with nursing, compassion, and service. Florence Nightingale's story is more than history. It is a reminder that greatness is not about wealth, status, or comfort. It is about purpose. She had every reason to live a life of ease, but she chose a path of sacrifice. She walked into the darkest places of war and suffering, carrying only a lamp and her unshakable will to serve. And in doing so, she lit a flame that still burns in every hospital, in every nurse, and in every act of compassion today. Her life teaches us that even in times of despair, one person's courage can change the destiny of thousands. Florence Nightingale was not just the lady with the lamp. She was the woman who proved that service to humanity is the highest form of greatness.